Do you want to make your own rock music, but all you have is a $200 laptop and an addiction to caffeine? Well, I cannot help you with the second one because I came out the womb with a Monster Zero in hand, but I can help with the first one because I've self-produced dozens of rock songs using nothing but a $200 laptop and fake instruments. And just so you know that I know my stuff, here's some examples. By the end of this video, you are going to, 1, know everything that you need to start making rock music or rock beats right from your computer without any knowledge of how to play any instruments. Number 2, you're going to know the most affordable ways to do so. Stick around to the end because I'm giving away something for free that is going to make this a whole lot easier. But don't download it yet. You need the video first to understand the architecture before you start building or whatever. You know what I mean? So the first thing you need, you already guessed it. That's right, a guitar or a fake guitar or a guitar VST or Kontakt library. And basically all that is a real guitar that has been turned into samples so you can just draw it in with MIDI. If you have FL Studio, you can use something like Flex. They have some great clean guitars and some somewhat decent electric guitars. Unfortunately, if you want to get pro level metal sound with fake guitars, you're probably going to have to drop some dollar bills. And I know it's hard out here for a pimp, but I dropped like 150 on a Shreddish 3 plugin back when I could not afford it, and I fucking best thing I ever did. But if you want to start, Ample Sound has a acoustic guitar library that's completely for free, and I'll have that linked in the description. The second thing you're gonna need, stop zooming out like that, camera, is an amp sim or a amp simulator. Basically all this is a plugin that goes right into your DAW that acts as an amplifier. There are some really good free ones. I have a couple linked in the description from STL Tones, and these are great if you actually play guitar. You can plug it right into your interface and bam. And that is the third thing you will need, an audio interface, which is this. That's right, the Scarlett. And basically this is just used for your microphone, or if you have a guitar or keyboard that you want to plug in. I'm using that audio interface right now for this microphone, and you're probably gonna have to drop at least 100 to get a good one, but you gotta spend bucks to eventually not give fucks because you're doing so good with music. That's what I always say. Numero 4, you need a drum VST. The good news is there's actually a really good one for free. I don't remember the name of it, but I have it linked in the description. The ML Power drum kit or something. If you mix it right, you can make almost any drums sound really good. The next thing you're gonna need, my friend, is a bass VST, which is basically the same thing as the guitar VST. I'm over here now because the fucking sun keeps changing. It just stays still. So the next thing you need is a bass VST, which is the same thing as a guitar VST except with bass. It's a real bass that's been sampled so that you can play fake bass. Fake real bass. I don't know. My favorite is Genbass by Submission Audio, which does cost a little bit of bread, but there is a great free one that I have linked in the description. I think it's great. I haven't tried it, but I've heard good things about it. This next one I feel like is not talked about enough at all because, like, my friend Micah, he produces his own rock music. I remember bringing up Splice to him, and that was one thing that he had heard about but had never really used. And I come from the dubstep world, so Splice is a fucking that's the thing. A lot of hip-hop people, pop people, EDM people use Splice, and I guess it's just not as common with rock. You don't have to get Splice, but it's definitely the most affordable way to have access to samples, which is really the thing you need. You do need some samples if you want to make pro level shit and you want to be able to do all the cool post-production stuff like impact effects, or just if you want random sound effects in your song, you can take synth loops and manipulate them any way you want to. And if you just want some hip-hop drums during a verse, or you just want some different shit up in there, you know, it's a great place. And people hate on loops, and I don't understand why, because they're fucking amazing. Next, you're gonna need one of these bad boys, a microphone. This is the AT2020 by Audio Technica. It runs around $100 to $150 on Amazon, depending on which one you get. And bro, this shit works amazing. I recorded a song in my grandmother's car that got like 1.7 million streams. You don't need a crazy microphone. This shit's fine right here. Just make sure that it's a condenser mic. However, if you're doing screams, you need a dynamic mic. And I won't go into the differences because that's a whole nother video in itself. So you've got your mic, you've got somewhere to plug it in, you've got your guitar, you got your bass, you got your sound effects, and you got your drums. The very last thing you need are mixing tools. But thankfully, in almost every DAW, these come stock. There's really no sense in buying anything third party until you understand the stock ones. And I only say that because the stock ones aren't always great, but they do what they need to do. No matter which EQ you get, it's gonna be an EQ and you're gonna use it the same way. Same thing with a compressor for the most part. And ambient effects like delay and reverb. But yeah, you just need to learn your stock mixing tools. And then once you get to a point where you understand the basics of those, then I think it's a good idea to get some third party stuff. And I almost forgot to mention the free thing. I made this huge sample pack called the Modern Rock Starter Kit. So this is if you don't have any VSTs, no bass, no guitar, no drums. This has got drum samples that you can just put right into your sequencer or piano roll or right on the timeline. It's got guitar one-shots like single notes, palm mutes, power chords, fancier chords, drum fills, drum loops. You could make a rock song with everything that's in there without having to touch anything else. But to get your songs to like a really pro level, you probably will have to invest some money, which does suck, but it's like, it's the least amount of money we've ever had to invest in making music in the history of ever. Except maybe before capitalism was invented. When you're starting out, this shit can seem really complicated and overwhelming, but if you can just get through those first few months or the first couple of years, depending on how much you work on it, an entire world of possibility opens up to you. You just have to get down those very basic things, get down the fundamentals like EQ and compressors and how to write riffs and how to do drums, and you get all those things working together, and like before you know it, you're gonna be listening to shit you made a year ago and you're gonna be like, what the fuck was that bullshit? And just to prove my point, I'm gonna end this video with something I made 10 years ago, which is probably the worst beat I've ever made.